I'm a soldier for Christ. I'm a soldier. No, they'll never take us under because we're bringing truth like thunder. Raining on your speakers like a ton of bricks. Hold the cross high because we're Catholics.
Yeah, 2 California emergency room doctors. I think they started a revolution in this country against the Wuhan flu with the extreme mitigation policies.
Yep.
And these guys are very calm. They're very sincere. They're very caring. They're not, polemic.
Nope.
They're scientific based.
Yep.
They have all the statistics there, even from the government.
Just the facts.
And they did a 2-day press conference.
Yep.
These guys, they're fairly young. They're probably mid-late 40s, I'd say.
Yeah, they've been a doctor for 26 years, so go ahead.
Yeah, so they're probably in their late 40s, maybe early 50s. It's Dr. Art Mashi and Dr. Dan Erickson. They work for the Accelerated Urgent Care in Bakersfield, but apparently there's a chain of this Accelerated Urgent Care across California.
Right.
And we'll share the comments at the bottom, but I'll tell you, they've both have been saying that they've constantly felt from the very beginning of the pandemic that there's some things that just don't seem to add up.
Right.
About the extreme, unprecedented, and devastating measures that were put in place by the government to try to stop this Wuhan flu, this Wuhan virus, from causing the high numbers of these estimated deaths. I remember these doctors are saying what Fauci and Burke were talking about clearly, that the 6-figure numbers of people that were going to die, they have all been wrong, Terry.
Absolutely.
Dramatically wrong. And these 2 young doctors are calling them out on it.
And they should.
The doctors are saying that the scientific and statistical evidence does not at all justify the public becoming as terrified of this virus as they are. And again, the media continues pounding away, especially the liberal media, to make everybody feel every day like this is the end of the world.
Exactly.
And these 2 young doctors, they're on the front lines. They work in this every single day of their life for the last 20 some odd years. They work long hours every day treating people with the Wuhan flu, the patients.
Yep.
And they're saying that from the evidence that they presented in this press conference, that the chance of dying from this virus is actually very low, and that it is in fact not much worse than the seasonal flu. And they respectfully raise many questions that any good doctor should also be naturally raising. And one of the crucial things that they're raising, or that they highlight, is that we normally do not isolate healthy people during a disease outbreak.
Makes sense to
My
me.
wife has been telling me that, going back to her nursing book. She goes, this is what they taught me 30 years ago. I can't see why they're going against what was actually taught to doctors and nurses.
Yeah.
During this pandemic, both the sick and the healthy are being forced to endure substantial isolation that results in many negative and even life-threatening outcomes, such as suicides, dangerous addictions, people drinking more, smoking more, using more drugs, domestic violence, people beating themselves up at home, sexual predation at home.
Yeah.
I mean, these doctors also warn that the extended indoors isolations out of the sun and out of fresh air is going to weaken the immune systems of healthy people to the point where they're going to be susceptible to this Wuhan, or they're going to be more susceptible to this Wuhan Chinese Communist virus and other diseases after this isolation is ended. And again, this could cause an unexpected flood of otherwise avoidable, seriously ill patients into hospital when the isolation period is ended, because people's immune systems are going to be much weaker.
Jesse, also the article points out many hospitals have closed their doors, especially in rural areas. Why? Because everybody who was coming in for their heart surgery or for just treatments of whatever they have been postponed. And so a lot of these people aren't making it. I know one story of a man that died because he just needed some attention to his chronic problems, and because the hospital was closed because of the Wuhan virus, he died. And so here's my point. I get some of our church officials saying, hey, we have to do this because we don't want to
Maybe early on, Terry.
I get it. But you know what, Jess? The statistics are not showing it now. They were wrong. Let's just be honest about it. These 2 doctors are looking at 6 to 8 weeks of history on this virus and saying, time out. Let's reevaluate where we're going with this. They give you all the statistics. Well, here's what they say, Jesse. It's common sense. Let's not isolate the healthy people, because that's just going to add to the problem. If you have old people, let's make sure that they're isolated where they're not going to have to deal with people. That's fine. But to stop people from going to work and to going to church, are you kidding me? That's undermining the whole aspect of this virus. And not only that, what do you think about people who don't work after a while and they start getting freebies? Guess what, Jess? It becomes like depressing. Jess, I know you well. If you worked and then you got a paycheck, you felt pretty good. That's how you were brought up. But Jess, I'm going to ask you a question. If you didn't work and you still got a paycheck, how would you feel? I'm being honest. Say it right now. How would you feel?
I'd feel like a slob. I'd feel undignified.
Yep.
I'd feel this entitlement mentality
ruins
is
you.
something that I wasn't raised in this entitlement
I wasn't either.
culture.
Nope.
You know, I was raised with the principles of St. Paul. If you don't work,
you don't
eat.
Yep.
It's pretty simple.
Yep.